chief of Cat Lake First Nation says his community had no choice but to pursue legal action to halt the construction of a mining road. Good evening and thank you for joining us. The chief of Cat Lake held a news conference at Queen's Park this morning to highlight his community's frustration over mining activity.
Chief Russell Wesley says they were forced to take legal action and gain an injunction after the Ford government authorized construction of an access road to a mining site in their territory without consultation. Jess Clement has the details.
Chief Russell Wesley was joined by MPP Saul Mamakwa on Tuesday morning to talk about the temporary injunction Cat Lake First Nation secured, which stopped construction of an access road to a proposed open-pit gold mine at Springpole Lake. He stated that despite declaring a mining moratorium and initiating an Anishinaabe-led impact assessment on the project, the government went ahead and authorized First Mining Gold to construct the road.
Ontario's decision and actions was made in defiance of a well-documented moratorium on mining in the Cat Lake First Nation traditional territory. In short, Ontario forced Cat Lake First Nation into the courts.
Wesley emphasizes that it's not because the community is against mining, as they've supported other projects in the past, but they need to take time to better understand the potential impacts the project may have on their community and the environment. Mamakwa says the injunction is a marker of a bigger issue.
The Ontario government continues to proceed with any work that's happening within our homelands without the free, prior, informed consent. Certainly when we continue this work, there's other crises that are happening in our First Nations and our communities, and that's what we struggle with.
At the end of the news conference, Wesley also gave an update on the aftermath of the fire that destroyed his community's nursing station on Saturday night. Wesley says 2 nurses from Sachigo Lake First Nation are helping out in the community, bringing the total number of nurses to 6.
We don't actually have a nursing station, but we're trying to launch 73 Health, which is part of the MOU I announced last Monday, to see if they can provide remote diagnostics. But I expect some hurdles and challenges there, but that would provide the patient and doctor relationship during this time. There's multiple partners involved, and I'm very appreciative of these partnerships.
Jessica Clement, TBT News.
The 2024 World Taiichi Championships won't be held in Thunder Bay after all. Local organizer Peng Yu says the lack of flights and other logistical issues forced local organizers to withdraw as the host city. The big event was first announced back in 2019. The Taiichi Championships were expected to bring more than 500 competitors to the city from around the world. Peng Yu says the decision to withdraw wasn't taken lightly, but he says the significant scale of the event, coupled with inadequate flight capacity and hotel rooms, ultimately rendered Thunder Bay an impractical host. City Tourism Manager Paul Pepe concurs, saying the reduction in airline competition and frequency of flights in recent years has become a concern for groups attracting large sporting tourism events. The World Taiichi Championships will now be held in Singapore instead.
Most Thunder Bay public want a smaller city council, according to survey results revealed today by the Council Composition Committee.
The group also approved some in-person opportunities for the community to have its say. Vasilios Bellows reports.
A strong theme has emerged regarding public opinion on the makeup of City Council.
There is a want for a reduction in councillors.
The Council Composition Review Committee discussed the results of a survey that went out to the community. Of the 659 respondents, 72% said the current 13-person council is too large. Based on the survey responses, the average number of councillors should be 8.6. This still doesn't mark a clear path on how to cut down council, with respondents saying there's benefits to both the ward and at-large systems. Chair Rebecca Johnson says this will make the committee's work challenging.
Whether they are all at large or whether they're in wards or there's a mixture of both, I don't know that we're ready to make that decision at this point in time. I think what we need to also look at is the fact of what do other communities do? I mean, they're in somewhat the same situation.
The committee's discussion then turned to future consultation opportunities at local libraries.
Trying to recruit people from all backgrounds, including people on low income, from marginalized backgrounds.
The committee voted to add 4 public engagement sessions. That includes 2 deliberative sessions that'll involve smaller groups of about 40 participants who will be compensated for their time.
You know, we pay our admin staff, we pay our city councillors. We need to pay members of the community for that same work as well. So we're really proud to be a part of that aspect and to pay people a living wage to have their input on this really critical public issue.
The other 2 engagement opportunities aside from the deliberative sessions will include a broader one open to the public and another for just the Indigenous community. Board member Heather McLeod expects more personalized information from these sessions.
As a really personal take, here's how I feel like a change would be welcome. So that's what I'm most looking forward to hearing from a broader group than just the 6 of us. What would people like to see change?
The first deliberative public session's happening here at Waverley Library on March 21st, with the second occurring on the 27th at Brody. The idea is to have one at each end of the city, so as many people as possible can have their say in the future composition of City Council. Vasilios Bellos, TBT News.
Well, last night, Council approved a nearly $1.1 million contract to begin environmental protection work at the landfill on Maple Ward Road. It's part of a larger project to construct a cover for a portion of the property that's already filled to capacity. Council also got an update on the financial assistance program that provides loans for private lead water service replacement. Some councillors want better public education regarding the program. Since it was launched in 2020, only about $200,000 of the $1.35 million set aside has been issued.
The province has reached a deal with the English Catholic Teachers Union.
The Education Minister has provided a rundown of the agreement. CTV's Siobhan Morris has the details.
This one over here.
It's the final piece of the labor peace puzzle in Ontario schools.
Last night and early into the morning, we reached a tentative central agreement with OECTA, the Catholic Teachers Union.
The last of the major teachers unions to come to new deals with the government after years of talks.
More than 2 million children, every single child in a publicly funded school in Ontario, can now look forward to stability in their lives.
No chance of any job action for more than 2 years. OECTA members still need to approve the deal in a vote later this month.
It's a deal that certainly gets to many of the serious issues that our teachers had raised around supports for students and teaching and staffing and health and safety and special needs.
There will be some issues settled by arbitration, including back pay tied to the end of Bill 124.
We fronted that legal challenge and we're pleased with that result, and that will be reflected in some of the processes and outcomes in our settlement.
Teachers' contracts are all scheduled to expire at the end of August 2026. That's a few months after the next provincial election. In the last provincial election, we saw a big focus on building new highways. It's a message the Premier stuck by today, blowing off challenges from the opposition. The NDP had pushed the government to eliminate tolls for truckers on the 407, a bid they say to take pressure off other highways, save cash, and speed up drive times.
This government made a big show about legislation to ban tolls on major highways, but they exempted the only provincial highway that actually charges tolls.
The government voted down the NDP proposal without really entertaining it.
You voted against the 413. You voted against the Bradford bypass. You voted against the largest transit expansion in North America. But, which way are you going today?
Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
First Nations people whose name was changed when they attended residential school will never have to pay provincial fees to reclaim their name. The Ontario government recently announced that it's permanently extending a waiver for the name change fees that was originally set to expire at the end of March.
The name change is not just a name change. It's a reclamation of your identity.
Kiiwetinoong MPP Saul Mamakwa had long advocated for the fees to be permanently waived, and he was happy to hear Minister Todd McCarthy announce the policy change at Queen's Park. The waiver applies to residential school survivors and their families, but Mamakwa would like it to extend to all Indigenous people. He says First Nations names can carry deep cultural significance and were often shortened or changed entirely by colonial agents. In fact, he says he might change his own name in the near future.
My original last name was Memegweswag or Memegwesisag, but it's the Rock people. It's the very spiritual people, and that was my my great parents' name. So.
McCarthy also announced the province is waiving a number of fees relating to death records for children who died at residential school. Federal name change fees are also waived for Indigenous people. That waiver expires in May of 2026.
Thunder Bay-born Ray Lalonde made his return to Jeopardy last night for the Tournament of Champions. He won 13 straight games last year, but Lalonde had a tough match against Melissa Clapper and Celebrity Jeopardy champion Ike Barinholtz. Lalonde was in third place heading into the final Jeopardy, but had one last chance to try to pull a victory.
We'll begin with Ray Lalonde in third place, 13,800 after a great game. He wrote down, who is Ovid? Yes, the great Roman poet who died in exile for writing erotic poetry that was a little too erotic. The best reason to be exiled, I think. What did you wager, Ray? $8,000, taking you to 21,800. Ike Barinholtz was in second place with 14,800. Was he thinking about Ovid, as we know celebrities often do? Oh, who is Ovid? That's correct. He wagered 13,801 and now has the lead.
Clapper dropped down to third after providing the wrong answer. That put Lalonde in second place, while Barinholtz surprised many by moving onto the semifinals. Lalonde still managed to showcase his incredible knowledge and classy sportsmanship during the hard-fought game. He leaves the tournament with an additional $5,000 to add to the $386,000 he took home during his exciting run last year.
A classic tale will be brought to life on the Cambrian Players stage tomorrow night. 13 local actors will showcase their talents in The Snow Queen.
Found your friend? No, and I don't seem to understand where I am or what's going on, and I don't seem to understand anything anyone says to me.
Audiences will join the main character, Gerda, as she embarks on a fantastical adventure to save her best friend Kai from the evil Snow Queen. But she'll have to travel through all 4 seasons to get him back. The amateur theatre group has been working on the production since December. Director Jessica Graham says they can't wait for audiences to see the finished product.
I hope the audience gets to experience all of the seasons, because we seem to just have 2 these days, and has a couple laughs and is mystified by some of the fun technology we're using.
I really like the amount of effort we're putting into this, and seeing it all come together and really have everything work out with all of the costumes, the set pieces, the whole play just really light up with all of the energy is a great feeling, and getting to share it with everyone.
The Snow Queen runs this week from Wednesday to Saturday, and next week from March 13th to the 16th. The curtain opens at 7:30 each evening. Tickets are available online at CambrianPlayers.com.
The warm weather continues to wreak havoc on outdoor winter recreation in Thunder Bay. All of the city's boarded rinks are now closed for the season.
The rapid melt and recent rain has also shut down the cross-country trails at Camview and Lappy ski centers. Jaden Billick reports.
The warm weather and rain, which Mother Nature brought us over the past few days, is shortening the season of outdoor recreational facilities sooner than expected. The nets are up at this outdoor rink, with not a single person in sight skating on the ice. It's an odd sight in the week leading up to the March break, when people are usually tying their skates and layering up. City Parks Manager Corey Halverson spoke to us about how the weather conditions have forced them to shut down all 30 of the city's outdoor boarded rinks.
Yeah, with the unseasonably warm winter we've had, it has been a challenge keeping the ice skatable throughout the season, and at the tail end of the season, as the daytime sun gets warmer and warmer, the impacts to the ice just gets greater and greater.
Meanwhile, the local cross-country ski centers have also been feeling the effects of this weather anomaly. After Sunday's rain and Monday's +8 temperatures, there's just not enough snow to keep the trails at Camview or Lappy open. The decision to close for the season will unfortunately cause them to miss out on the busy March break week. Camview General Manager Dave Suddy says this is by far the shortest season they've ever experienced.
Pretty short. We didn't actually have the chalet open until the 6th of January this year, and we closed down on the 4th of March. So basically about 2 months maybe, max. Last year we closed, the last time I groomed I believe was on the 26th of April, and then the season before that, the last time I groomed was the 5th of May.
Officials at Camview and Lappy say if we suddenly received a foot or two of snow, they would groom the trails and reopen them. But after the winter we've had, they're not that optimistic. Jaden Billick, TBT News.
And that's just so crazy to me. May and April were the last times that they closed, and now it's March and it's closing.
Foot and a half of snow is probably wishful thinking at this point of the season.
Absolutely. Well, Haley, that's where I'm turning to you. I don't know, well, with 5 degrees, I don't think we're going to get much snow today, at least.
Yeah, no, wishful thinking indeed.
Yeah.
The only place you're going to see a snow queen is at Cambrian Players because, yes, our high today was 5 degrees, and that's actually 6 degrees higher than what we typically see as our high of the day for this time of year. And that happened at around 4 o'clock today. Our low was at 8 a.m., and that was -7 degrees, feeling like -11 with the wind chill. And winds were in all westerly directions today, ranging from the west-northwest for most of the day and shifting southwest for a little bit and even coming from the east at times now. But today was a mainly sunny day, transitioning to partly cloudy as we move on. And as we take a look at the rest of the region, we're seeing some partly cloudy skies along the west side. Red Lake's at -9 right now, and that actually was their high for today as well, which is actually colder than their average for this time of year, but not by much, just about 4 degrees. Keноra's at -6, Sioux Lookout at -5, same with Dryden. Fort Frances is at -3, and they had a mainly sunny day today. Atikokan and Uppsala are both at 0 right now, and then Nipigon's at 0 as well, but they actually saw a high of 4 today, which is 7 degrees higher than their average. So some areas are colder than average, some are warmer than average, but we're seeing sun across the board nonetheless. We see a lot of sunshine in Greenstone today, -3 right now. -2 in Marathon. Wawa also saw a high of 4, but they're now at 0. And Sault Ste. Marie is at 2 under partly cloudy skies, but they had a high of 5 today. Now, as we look into Thunder Bay for tonight, our low will be -9, so we're not dropping down very cold this evening. It'll feel like -13 with the wind chill, fairly similar to last night. Under partly cloudy skies, winds once again from the west, ranging between 5 to 20 kilometers an hour. So similar to last night, we're still seeing warmer temperatures than we're used to, and that's just an average Tuesday for a Haley Perot, I guess.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
All right, thanks a lot, Haley.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, we turn our attention to national news now after the break. It's the call that no parent wants to get. A school bus carrying about 40 children crashed this morning in Woodstock, Ontario, near Woodstock, Ontario. Fortunately, however, there don't appear to be any serious injuries. We'll have all the details when your news hour continues after the break.
Our investigations determined that there were approximately 40 children on that bus when the bus left the roadway and rolled over.